I wanted to turbocharge that by discussing 10 stocks of the day. YOLO right for the holidays. For this one, I want to bring in Wedbush Managing Director and Global Head of Tech Research, Dan Ives. Dan kindly slid into my inbox this week with a tidy list of 10 tech stocks you all should own. He also thinks we're not in a bubble. Dan, good to see you, man. It's been a while. Looking
great to see you.
Good as always. Little boss, little F1 driver look. I'm feeling it, man.
Yeah, of course. For Sozzi, I'm always going to bring.
You're the man, bro. So you are out with 10 tech stocks to own in the AI revolution. Level set for us, because we've been talking about this AI bubble stuff for about a month. I'm over it. You make a good point that we're not in one. Why is that?
I mean, I just came back from Asia, was there 3 weeks. Demand to supply is 12 to 1 for Nvidia chips. I mean, we've seen acceleration in terms of demand, well, even over the last 3 months by 30%. Look, it speaks to our view, only 3% of companies in the US have gone down the AI path. Globally, it's less than 1%. Still very early in this AI revolution, but again, it's easy to call it a bubble from 25th floor of a New York City office building or on Metro North, but when you're actually seeing it in the fabs in Taiwan, you have a much different perspective.
And important, I should note, Dan didn't just become an analyst like yesterday. He's been doing this for many years. And you mentioned in this report that you also worked through the 90s, during that tech bubble. Mm-hmm. What is the difference between today and then late 90s?
Yeah, and me and you've talked. I mean, obviously, we both for decades have been doing this. So look, late 90s, the average tech company is trading at 30 times revenue.
Like Global Crossing, remember Global Crossing?
Today, yeah. 27 times earnings. Yeah. That bubble, when we talk about bubble, that was really created by companies that had really minimal business models, PowerPoints. Today, it's big tech, $1 trillion in the balance sheet, $300 to $400 billion of free cash flow. And also, this is a true fourth industrial revolution. The use case on enterprise, it's the future, robotics, autonomous. And that's why I just continue to say this still continues to be, it was 9 p.m., it's now 10:30 p.m. in the AI party that goes to 4 a.m. and the bears watch the party through the windows from the outside.
I want to start, let's go down this list. Let's start with Nvidia, because you and I have been talking about Nvidia for years, but you also wrote another note today calling Nvidia the Rocky Balboa of the AI trade. What is left for Nvidia to achieve next year, and where does the stock go?
Look, it comes down to the demand to this point has only been U.S. Think about sovereigns, what's happened in Asia, and ultimately what I think we'll be breaking back into the China market with the regulatory. Look, I think Nvidia earnings numbers, they're underestimated probably 15-20% over the next year.
Is that mostly because of China?
I think it's China, but also I think it's just the overall demand in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Now, look, even though on the Google TPU, worries about Tommy Gunn or whatever you want to say, Drago coming to get Rocky Balboa, just to continue with the thesis.
I love Rocky 5, Dan. It gets a lot of crap, but that's a good movie.
But I'm actually more bullish on Rocky 2.
Rocky 2, okay, fair enough.
But look, the reality is that there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, and that's the godfather of AI, Jensen, Nvidia. But look, demand and supply is 12 to 1. Mm-hmm. Meta, they can't get all the chips they want from Nvidia.
As someone that has been very right on Nvidia, very early on Nvidia, is it laughable to you that Google's now getting some attention with its chips that it's been making, and suddenly we all supposed to care about them?
Look, I mean, it's part of the reason, we've been so bullish on Alphabet or Google just because my view, you start off the year, New York City cab drivers bearish on Google, right? Given DOJ, breakup, AI is going to ruin their business model. But it shows now, they're getting major mojo. But this is just another additional sort of catalyst for them. But I continue to view, Nvidia 250 continues to be my view where that thing ends a year from now.
Nvidia, and then let's hit up Palantir. We just had Alex Karp at our Invest event, and he made, obviously, he's co-founder of this company, he made a strong case for Palantir. What's your case for Palantir?
It's the Messi of AI. Look, it just comes down to this is a company that when it comes to use cases, no one could compete. Now, you could say it started off on the government side, but for all the work that we've done, that's why there's a name like the haters, they hated 12, despise it, 50, yelling from the mountaintops at 100. It continues to be, in my view, what's going to be $1 trillion company next 2 or 3 years. Now, look, is it super expensive today? Of course. But what happens when commercial bookings is 5x from where they are today?
And then let's hit another one. Tesla. Elon Musk signed, sealed, and delivered. He's got his pay package. What does next year hold for them? And are robo-taxis, that rollout next year, the main driver of the stock?
Biggest chapter of growth ever in its history. It's about robotics, it's about autonomous. Musk now wartime CEO. And I continue to view, I mean, base case $600, bull case 800. They are going into what I believe, when it comes to AI, physical AI, two best companies in the world, it's Nvidia.
Are they a car company?
And Tesla. They're not. Look, I think it's almost offensive to call them a car company because I view them as just a pure technology company. I think investors continue to underestimate what that's going to look like.
Not on your list. I wanted to, before we wrap this up, a couple names not on your list that surprised. Salesforce, not on your list. Amazon, not on your list. IBM, some of these old school companies. Like, why wouldn't they make this list?
And those are all in our Ives AI 30 in the ETF. But I'm looking at and those are names that we're very positive on in terms of where they're going to go. You know what Arvind and Benioff are doing. But this comes down to these are our top 10. These are the elite, right? I mean, these are the names that I kind of view each in its own category, are really, really defining the AI revolution. Salesforce, obviously back against the wall, everything Benioff's doing, I think they're going to be successful. What Arvind's doing, taking a page out of really Nadella's playbook in terms of what they're doing at IBM.
Any chance in hell for Intel now that it's backed by the government? And Nvidia.
And Nvidia. I mean, look, you're popping champagne going Thanksgiving as an Intel shareholder, and you have to give them credit, right? I mean, they are now part of the AI revolution, given Nvidia, given the Beltway, and now it's still ever uphill battle in terms of innovation, but they're in a much different situation than where they were a year ago.
Lastly, Dan, how concerned are you on how entrenched OpenAI is really to this entire ecosystem?
It's like having too much Peter Luger steak.
I love Peter Luger, man, but I guess that's your point.
The point is it's not a bad thing. Even though Oracle, Microsoft, you want it. They're foundational to what they're doing. And I get the words circular deals. That to me, they continue to be foundational to where I view the AI revolution. So I don't view anything that's negative because it's my view we are still top of the third, one out in terms of this AI game.
Are you the big steak guy, Peter Luger? Are you that guy? And do you share your steak?
No, I share the steak, and I'm not the I'm sort of middle of the table type guy. But some good wine. But again, would I rather be Peter Luger's, or I'd rather be in the White Castle, sort of drive through 4 a.m.
Good to see you, man.
Great.
You have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right.
Have a great one.